Hip-hop is a genre that is always changing, and artists often start out small but go on to become famous and successful. Lil Durk is one of these artists who has had a big effect on the field. As of now, he is one of the most famous rappers in the world, but getting there was not easy. Durk was born and raised on Chicago's South Side. His childhood was hard because his father was not around, and he lived in Inglewood, a neighborhood known for its gang crime. In this video, we go into Lil Durk's amazing life and follow his journey from being a street-smart kid to working with rap stars like Drake and Kanye West. A tough start. Trials and tribulations shaped Lil Durk's early life. Big Durk, Lil Durk's father, went to prison when he was only 7 months old and was facing a life term for his part in a major crack cocaine operation. Big Durk had close ties to the dangerous Gangster Disciples, a well-known Chicago gang. This made things even more complicated for young Durk. In Chicago, the Black Disciples and the Gangster Disciples were in a bitter competition. However, Big Durk's criminal businesses were around before the fight. The catalyst for conflict. Big Durk's drug business grew, making things worse in Inglewood. The violent feud between the BDs and GDs got even worse. Some BD leaders thought they should have more land, which set off a terrible chain of events. Big Durk's empire finally fell apart, which put him and 3 of his closest friends in jail. What made the difference was when Tosha Woods, Big Durk's cousin, testified against him. There was a huge amount of cash and drugs found in Big Durk's storage unit when the cops searched it. Lil Durk kept a close relationship with his father even though he was in jail by calling him often. Big Durk knew what it was like for kids to grow up without dads in the neighborhood, and he was determined to keep his own son from going through the same thing. The early hustle. Lil Durk's mother had a hard time taking care of him and his brothers. There were days when it was hard to put food on the table. Durk went out on the streets when he was only 10 years old because he knew he had to help his family. At first, he thought that basketball would help him get away from the streets, but the harsh facts of life in Inglewood made him change his mind. The first step Durk took into music was dropping tracks in 2010. But a gun charge in 2011 woke them up. Durk knew he had to make changes in his life after spending 3 months and then another 87 days in jail for having a weapon. Having a child while he was in jail made him even more determined to leave the circle of living on the streets. Lil Durk's rise to fame. When Durk got out of jail, he had 2 options. He could stay on the dangerous streets or start a career in music. He had dropped out of high school and was living with his mother and their new baby son. They were poor and did not have any direction. He did, however, choose to focus on music instead, putting out songs like Sneak Dissin' and I'm a Hitter in 2011. Because of how powerful social media and sites like MySpace are, his fan base started to grow. The song L's Anthem, which Lil Durk released in 2012, accidentally made the fight between the BDs and GDs worse, which could have led to more violence in Chicago. With songs like Dis AM Not What You Want, Durk's career kept going strong, and in 2013 he signed a record deal with Def Jam Records. Trials and triumphs. Lil Durk's career took a big turn when he signed with Def Jam, but he quickly had another court setback. After only a few days, he was arrested again on a weapons charge. If the cops in Chicago stopped Durk, they said he threw a gun into his car. There was a charge of illegal use of a weapon by a felon and a $100,000 bond for Durk in his early days with Def Jam. Even though his friend and fellow rapper Chief Keef was not there for him, Durk kept going with his music business. Following the release of his mixtape Signed to the Streets in 2013, he put out more work in 2014. He also got into a very public fight with Tyga and The Game. Leaving a trace. Lil Durk made some big choices in 2018. He left Def Jam Records to look for new chances. He also changed his attention to promoting his crew, Only the Family. When King Von joined OTF, it gave the group new energy, which led to the release of the hit song Crazy Story. Durk kept working hard in 2019, putting out several pieces and working with other artists. In 2020, he broke into the mainstream when his record got to number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart and he sang with Drake on the song Laugh, Now Cry Later. Facing tragedy. During the height of his fame, Lil Durk lost loved ones in terrible ways. The sad shooting and death of King Von in 2020, who was a close friend and co-worker, made NBA YoungBoy's long-running feud with him worse. The artist had to deal with more problems in 2021, such as the murder of his brother D-Tang and a scary home attack. Still, Lil Durk's strength and drive did not waver. Lil Durk's rise from the streets of Inglewood to the top of the rap business shows how determined and persistent he is. Despite many problems and deaths in his personal life, he became one of the most important rappers of his time. What are your thoughts on our video? Please let us know in the comments section below.